What's up, spiritual gangsters? It's your OGs, Treese
and Rain.
Welcome to another episode of Trybe Vibes.
Let's get into it.
So, this is the 6th, right? We're on 6?
Part
6 of gratitude. Oof. We're coming towards the end. It's only one more episode after this on gratitude. I know everyone's tired of gratitude at this point, right? Ironically. But this time we're going to talk about how to be grateful practically and how we can incorporate it into our everyday lives.
Right. I know most of the series was talking about basically how gratitude benefits you in your life and, when it is applicable or can be applied. But now we're going to get into some tools and some tricks that'll help us keep that in mind and practice it.
Some nitty gritty. So I'm going to start off with the Quran. Chapter 27, Ayah 74 says, "And truly your Lord is gracious to mankind, but most of them are not grateful." That's how we gonna start it off. And I say that
with the heavy hitter.
And I say that because it's easy to be ungrateful because it's our nature, as we discussed previously about like our nature of desire and ingratitude. So in order to be grateful, we actually have to put in an active effort. We actually have to put in the work. Just mindlessly saying thank you is just not going to cut it. And it's funny because, when, like say you're going through a hard time and then people say like, oh, just be grateful or whatever.
Right.
And most people, they get mad. Like some people get mad when people say, oh, be grateful.
It's toxic positivity because you're just blurting out stuff that sounds nice. Be like, okay, so how do I do that?
On that end too, but also because people get mad when people tell them to be grateful, because in our minds we think of gratitude as doing nothing, like it's a passive thing, and we don't really look at gratitude as like an active thing.
Yeah, it's an action, just like
we're doing something.
Yeah,
in our gratitude. So on a more lighter note, I have a quote from Henry Frederick Emile. He says, "Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. Thankfulness may consist merely of words. Gratitude is shown in actions."
Ooh,
so he's basically saying the same thing the Quran said, but in I guess I shouldn't say nicer way. I shouldn't say nicer because it's not necessarily nicer. It's perceived as nicer to some people. More approachable.
There you go. More approachable way.
But I like the way the Quran said it because it was being honest. Like most of you guys are not grateful.
Keep it real. No, but the way real. That Henry put it. I'm talking like I know him.
Henry.
My nigga Henry was saying. To say thank you is not the same thing as being grateful. Gratefulness is it's actions. It's how you show it. You do it.
And even like when like some people say, oh, I don't have, so I can't do this. Expressing gratitude, you don't have to have something to express gratitude. Like there's plenty of things you can do with your actions to thank people, even when you don't have things. Like I remember when I was broke as shit, I used to like write people letters and like cards, like even being my like college roommates. I was so grateful like of my roommate I had for like 4 years that like before we left, I like wrote her a whole like love letter, like how amazing of a person she is and how I'm grateful for her being in my life. Even that, even though it's still words, you're putting action behind your words. You're taking time out to create something in this physical realm for them to express your gratitude.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
To express, yeah. I mean, and even in that situation, it's not like you didn't have anything because you had that person in your life. You had your roommate. You know what I mean? When you have stuff, it's not always physical. Relationships are real. It's something that you have to show appreciation, and you took the action of telling her. That's big. Not everybody opens up like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's be grateful for the people we have in our lives. Like, if you even just have one person that, you are grateful for whatever reason, like, tell them that you're grateful for them. Like, sometimes we don't talk, you know, in like society, it's like we don't talk. We don't want to show each other emotions and be vulnerable because that's some like simp bitch ass shit. Like, no.
Pardon the New Yorker in us.
Right. Like, no, it's not no bitch ass shit to tell somebody like, yo.
Tracy, I love you, nigga.
Right. It's like, I care for you, my dude. Like, you a blessing in my life. Like, I appreciate you so much. Give me a hug. A hug is expressing gratitude.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just cultivate your relationships with people. Like, please. Because you never know how long you have with certain people in your life. So you always want to make sure that people know how you feel. And you never know how that's going to bring the other person up either.
Yep, it's spreading positivity.
It's spreading positivity.
So
but we'll get to sharing gratitude like in a few. But we have like a random list of like random things you can do to practice your gratitude.
Yeah, some stuff that you can incorporate into your everyday. If you know, sometimes it's easier for people to talk about emotions than others. But if you can't do that, then there's some other stuff that you can practice gratitude in your everyday life.
Like marveling at something wonderful or beautiful, or just taking a moment. Because, for instance, quick little mini story. Yeah. I recently just created an outdoor space for myself.
It's so cute.
Yeah, I know, it's so cute. So I have a hammock on my outdoor space, and the hammock is so beautiful. First of all, I love hammocks. Just the way it supports your body, and it's so relaxing. So every day I make an effort to go out to my hammock and just rock for a bit. Just like sit, and my backyard is covered in like forest. So I'm just sitting, looking at the forest, being one with nature. And I feel such at peace. And I feel so grateful to even be able to have a peaceful moment in my life. You know, and I try to do it like first thing to try to cut through all the chaos, you know, before I start my day. But even something as simple as that, like finding a space that brings you comfort and brings you besides your bed. Like, try to go outside. Try to go somewhere outside.
You know, it doesn't even have to be a destination. Like, I have plenty of babies in my family. I could just look at a new little baby, and that makes me feel grateful. Like, look, another life is here. I'm able to impact, you know, babies are so adorable. You know what I mean? It's like,
that's true.
A person could remind you a place. I am a hippie. I love the arts. Paintings and stuff just knock me off of my feet when you can sit there and just marvel at something beautiful that was created either by man or by God.
I would say this much. I went to the San Francisco Botanical Gardens, and it was, well, there's two parts to the story. First of all, it was so beautiful. Like, just segue. Oh my God. San Francisco. I don't even like San Francisco. San Francisco as a city is terrible. Hate the city. Don't care what anyone has to say about it. Trash. Garbage. But I will say the one thing I really appreciated about the city of San Francisco is their botanical garden is beautiful. Like, I smoked weed, obviously, before I went in there. Naturally. So it made everything so much more amazing. But it was just so beautiful, just marveling at, like, all the flowers and being in nature and laying down on the grass and just... People were probably... Oh, yeah. I love grass. I love laying in the forest and all that stuff. So... You know, that's what I like, you know. But the story I was going to tell is when I was walking, because, you know, you paranoid when you get high and stuff anyway. So I'm walking down this path, and I see this baby in a stroller, and, like, it wasn't, I don't know if it was his parents, but, you know, two adults pushing. So this baby is smiling so hard. Like, you know, that baby is just like, you know, just smiling and looking. And then she's waving. She's like, hi, 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 hi. And, you know, for me, I was just like, I was trying to frown because I'm like, this baby ain't gonna get me. Like, I'm on my little, I'm a thug. Like
I know your plan and your baby agenda.
I don't know why.
You're not gonna get me this time.
I don't know why I did that. You know, when you high, you go through like mental emotions and different things. But in that moment, I felt like I wanted to chill. Like, I didn't want to like smile and be happy and shit. Like, this baby not gonna get me out of my character and shit. So I'm like grilling as I'm like walking closer to this baby. But this baby did not care. She continued on. She was like, hi, like staring me in my eye. Hi, waiting for me to say hi back. Yo, I started busting out laughing and I was like, hi. Hi.
You got me.
You got me, baby. Like, that was so crazy to me, but it like had me thinking after that, like, why was I acting like that? Like, you know, like, say hi to fucking babies. Like, just say hi.
To take in cuteness. That doesn't mean you're less of a thug.
Yeah, I didn't want to take it in at that moment. I was like, fuck that baby. Like, fuck them kids, fuck that baby. So yeah, saying hi to babies can make you grateful.
Yeah, let's put that on the list.
Also, focusing on all that you have instead of all that you lack.
Yes, that brings us back to a previous conversation where it's like, it's all in your perception. You may not be at, you know, the top of your life, your peak, you know, what you aspire to, but that doesn't mean that you have nothing going on. You still have plenty. You may not be rich, but you're not dead. You know what I mean? There's something to be grateful for. So, and
then even like what I was saying before about like buying a house, like it's so overwhelming. Like we both, because Rain and I recently bought a house, not together, but separately.
You know, we're not lesbians.
Yeah, we're not together.
We each have our own.
We just homies. But just the mere responsibility and guap.
Oh my
God, how
gosh.
much paper I have spent in a fucking week. Shit is crazy. When I first bought my house, I thought the down payment was the biggest thing.
That's hilarious.
I was like, shit. Just moving in. I'm like, I'm dropping bags after bag after bag. Like,
fix it up, and then the maintenance. And
going to Walmart 3 times in one day. All I hear in my head is just money, money, money.
Every day there's packages coming to my house.
I'm like, when is it going to stop? But then I had a conversation with one of my cousins, and she was just like, listen, you having a house is a blessing. She was like, you may end up feeling like you're sacrificing so much in the beginning, but once things settle down, it's like you have such a strong foundation and you're building. Be grateful that you have and that you're able to build and you have the means to continue to build. And that changed my perspective so much because I was in a negative place at that point. I was like, fuck this house, fuck this furniture, fuck this money. I'm about to go and travel I was like, I'm about to go travel in a van like how I was going to do anyway. Like, fuck this shit.
My go-to is to live in a tree. But, I 1,000% understand. Like, I had the same thing. I'm, 8 months in, and I'm still fixing up my house. And every now and then I could sit in my backyard and just, like, escape the to-do list. But I'm like, you know what? This is what's worth it. I got a little bit of land. I got a little bit of a view, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that that I'm creating. Do you know what I mean?
I guess that's what my hammock represents to me. It represents like taking a pause and realizing that it's okay to just relax into the now and be grateful for the now and smile. Like, smile about it. Feel good about it inside, about your accomplishments and everything that you have done. It's like the hammock is a moment for me to not focus on what I need to do or what I'm not and what I need to be. Yeah. It's just focusing on like who I am, what I have, what I'm going through, and just relishing in it. So I urge everyone to find your hammock, whatever that may be, that gives you that peace. Yours is your backyard when you sit down on your deck. You know, your hammock for you could just be like locking yourself in a closet and hiding away from your kids.
Let's not abandon children. You could even, how about you just close your eyes for a moment and take in a deep breath and just go over, just list things that you are happy about in your life, that you are grateful for. It could be kids, it could be friends, it could be the fact that you're not, homeless, or if you're homeless, the fact that you're not dead. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has at least 10 things, I think. If you could try to come up with 10 things.
Or even write it down in a place where you can continue to remind yourself, and you can put it up on your wall. Because I have a whole wall full of random things that my subconscious is trying to tell me. And
your mantra wall, I love it.
Yeah, I have a whole wall. So every time I walk by it, I always read something off of it. And it kind of gets me back to a place of putting me back on my path and where I need to and want to be, instead of just drowning in my own emotions all day or getting carried away with the day and the mind programming that tries to get at me during the day.
You take what you need from it.
Exactly.
When you see it in front of you, your blessings, because it can be hard to overlook when you're just going through the motions.
And then we have savor a small moment of quiet today. What does it feel like to close your eyes and just breathe?
There you go.
And resolve to not take things for granted today. Just try at the beginning of the day. Just say, I'm not going to take anything for granted. See how you see how you feel about that other day.
So the big trick is doing that at the end of the day. But
yeah, right. And seeing if you still feel the same thing.
Feel the same way. Try to.
Well, you can do that as like an evaluation. Like, did I take anything for granted today? Like, before you go to sleep, like, did I? And then that's something you can work on.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, even I like that, because honestly, even just reminding yourself keeps you in that, mindset to appreciate things more if you just keep reminding yourself.
And FYI, before you go to sleep, you should say some good things to yourself. And like reflect on your day, or because sometimes when you sleep, you end up having dreams about like what you did during that day or something. Like, I remember when I used to work retail, when I used to have like 4 jobs, and I used to work retail and a whole bunch of other things. I used to have dreams that like I'm hanging hangers, like fixing the sizes and stuff, but it's never ending. So I'm constantly running to a new one and like hanging and running to a new one and hanging, and it was like a nightmare. And it's because that's all I did all day, fold clothes and hang up shit.
It's terrible that you dream about work because you never escape it.
It's like people say, I had a dream about work. I'm not coming in and doing it another time. But I was broke as shit, so I was about to go to work. But sometimes I never unwinded before I went to sleep, because I always felt like I was kind of like rushing all the time because I had a job, I had this, I had this, I had that. Even if you have 5 minutes before you go to sleep, just try to take time to just practice gratitude, breathe, and unwind from the day with just like your breath and going through like, did I take anything granted for today? What can I do better tomorrow? Just like a quick little thing, because you don't want to, number one, go to sleep and have everything you did on your mind and have your brain process it while sleeping into a chaotic nightmare of like folding clothes.
Or what I'm grateful for, not just what I took for granted, but what I appreciate that happened that day, or the people.
The reason why I say what did I take for granted is because it can be like a learning lesson for tomorrow.
No, I know. But I'm just saying both, though. The duality.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Both. The duality.
The duality of it.
And then the big one is making a love letter to the universe. What would your love letter look like? And don't be negative, because I know some people will be like, oh, love letter to universe. Fuck this shit. Where my car at? I ain't got no bitches. Like,
so let's give an example of...
We're talking about good things, because you can write a hate letter to the universe on another podcast. But this is the podcast right now. On this episode in particular, we're talking about gratitude. We're trying not to be petty. So we're going to do a love letter to the universe.
What would be included in yours? You don't have to say your whole love letter. But
in mine, I would like be grateful for the good and the bad, like for the fact that I can triumph it over all of the things that try to cause me suffering or has caused me suffering. And I would thank them for that, honestly, because I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for my trials and tribulations. Like, I wouldn't be so free, so outspoken, so not scared, because there's a point in my life in particular where I was always very fearful, but I had to overcome my fear. How could I overcome my fears without any trials or tribulations? I had to face my fears. I had to, go on, and I'm grateful for retrospection. The fact that I have my own mind and I go through my experiences and I can recall. So just the mere workings of my brain, I am thankful of,
Humble brag. No kidding.
I am thankful for that. You know what? my love letter to the universe will be never ending. Like, I can talk for hours.
No, I guess, but I was like, just the points.
What would your love letter include?
Mine?
To the universe.
To the universe? Well, I'm still trying to be grateful for this, but like, all the things that I perceive as faults that I have, because I know it's the same things, a lot of stuff that I had to overcome, or I'm still trying to overcome, and just trying to appreciate the life that I lived, because it could have been better, for sure, but it also could have been a lot worse. Do you know what I mean? So, for whatever I feel like I'm not doing, I don't know.
That doesn't sound like a love letter to the universe.
It doesn't, does it? Okay, let me try again.
Try again,
Positive.
please.
I just naturally go negative.
You were just one of those niggas that I was just talking about.
My nigga, I just said I'm trying.
You were like, my life could have been better. For a love letter universe, you said my life could have been better.
Love letters. Like, well, even though I didn't get this. No, it's difficult. No, honestly, it's difficult. It's difficult. I'd probably have to sit with that one. Yeah.
Name one thing that you're grateful from the universe that you have.
I'm grateful for the people in my life and the times that I needed them. They were there. You know what I mean? And of what they contribute to my life. So, people in my life, friends, family.
Okay, so you thank the universe for others.
Yeah. What is this, a therapy session? Yes.
So tell me how do
you feel?
So now we're going to get into sharing gratitude, because what's life without sharing things? What's life without having interactions? As much as I love my solitude and not to be even dealing with motherfuckers, I do appreciate the interactions that I do have with people, and the fact that we're in this world together and we all need each other. And sharing gratitude is one of the great ways we can express gratitude and keep it in our lives and spread it to others. So I want to start it off with the Bible. We have Colossians. I can never pronounce that word. Colossians 3:15-17. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom, through psalms, hymns, songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him.
What's the exact that?
I like that one because it was like basically saying like everyone is supposed to be teaching and admonishing one another with wisdom through psalms, hymns, songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts.
So like
in your word and deed.
Other.
Yeah, it's like it's a universal thing. Like we're supposed to be doing it together.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's we're all in this together. Don't make me sing the High School Musical thing.
But I think that's because I was brought up in church with like having like you're in church Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah,
singing. I was in stepping shows, praise dancing, like all of that.
Yes.
And although I'm not as religious as I used to be, I do find that I'm glad I have a foundation of worship with others, because that's important to like share your worship, share your gratitude, share your thankfulness. That's why psalms and hymns and songs from the Spirit, at least for me, are very important.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's kind of why we started this.
Yes.
Before we even started recording ourselves, it was just us, because neither of us subscribe to a religion anymore, but we're both very spiritual. So we like turn to each other for those conversations and that encouragement and stuff. And
right, we wanted to start like a whole, I guess we might as well tell the story now.
Okay,
we wanted to start, well, first off, Rain, she likes to disappear. So I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't want my friend to disappear and then,
but I pop back up.
You pop back up. I don't want my friend to disappear and she may be going through something. I'd rather I go to church anymore. But even though we don't go to church, we kind of still needed something that we can go to kind of like shift through our emotions, go through the Bible and other religious texts, because I'm all about universal information. I don't prescribe to one religion or another religion. Right. I feel like I can learn anything from any religion or any blog, scientific study, like an opinion from a random person. I just try to use the world as like where I gain my spiritual knowledge from.
Yeah, same. I mean, but at first, this started with us in person too. I wasn't always just disappearing. Right. In person too, we'd have these conversations. Yeah, we'd be drunk or high, but we'd have these conversations, and it would be, yes, we pull from our Christian background, but I'm also very inspired by Islam and Hinduism and Buddhism, and her as well. We both, we both love to read, and even cinema or other art or something like that. You find inspiration where you can, and you use it, and hopefully it benefits you. And that's basically one of the tricks that you could do too. If you could find some type of something inspirational that can help you or push you to be grateful, then use it, as long as it's positive.
Or even find like a like-minded person and do your own little like. We called it Bible study. Oh, it wasn't really Bible study, but we called it Bible study because we both was raised as Christians. So it was the closest term we had to use for it. But like we said, we pulled from like a bunch of other religions and other backgrounds. And we would use like things that we were feeling at the time or things we were struggling with at the time, such as being more grateful or disappointments or what it is to really be happy or depression, whatever it was, whatever topic that we were struggling with that month, we would just rotate. Like, you pick a topic this month, I'll pick a topic next month. We'll talk about it and see where we can grow out of this.
Exactly. And so birthed Trybe Vibes. And we say it in our outro as well. We are learning together. That's really what this is about. Everything that we say, it's hopefully doesn't come off as preachy, because this is stuff that we are telling ourselves, really.
Right. We're learning just as long with everyone else. Yeah. We're not perfect. Everyone's a hypocrite. I don't care what no one says. If you've never said anything hypocritical in life, you don't talk much.
You don't talk, do you?
You don't talk much. So congregating with other people and sharing gratitude and sharing other things too, it's a good way to like foster a sense of community and a sense of gratitude for others. Yeah. So,
and it is inspirational, because when you find out somebody could be, they're obviously in a different journey, but you can still be like, you know what? I can be grateful too.
And then Edwin Arlington Robinson said, 2 kinds of gratitude. The sudden kind we feel for what we take, and the larger kind we feel for what we give. So remember, you can also be grateful in the process of giving somebody something, or be grateful for giving somebody something. Yeah. And not just be grateful when you take things from people.
Yeah. I like that because I know in my life there's times where I'm able to help other people, or financially, or even with my time, and it makes me feel good knowing that I'm able to contribute to them, and I tell them all the time, like, don't thank me, thank God that I was able to help you. Do you know what I mean? Like, right. I'm thankful that I'm somebody that can help you during this time in whatever way. Do you know what I mean?
Right. I think it's good to keep that in mind whenever you give people things, be grateful that you can give. And then the fact that it's kind of like what is that thing called? When somebody does something for somebody, then somebody does something for somebody else. It's like paying it forward. Paying it forward, yeah. It's like you're paying it forward with gratitude, and we all have to realize that we're all connected. And the more grateful you are, eventually, the more grateful other people are going to be, because you lead by example, and people see you. Even when people act like they're not seeing you, people checking for you. They're seeing you. They see you. And then I have another quote by Melly Beatty. She says, "Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates visions for tomorrow."
Yep. It is the connector.
That is the connector. Past, present, future. Maya Angelou said, "Today is a wonderful day. I haven't seen it before."
I love her. That's true. Every day is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Get it?
Oh, Albert Schweitzer actually said something really good about sharing gratitude. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us.
That's the same thing. It's contagious.
It's contagious. And then it's like when you were at a place where you felt like you couldn't go on or something happened to you, whether it was another person or a thing, and then that made you be able to have your spike rekindled and move on. So pay it forward. Especially if you were ever in a point in your life where you felt so grateful for whoever was around you that helped you out and stuff, do that. I try to do that all the time. Like, honestly, people around me check me all the time for being ungrateful or for not expressing gratitude when I need to. Yeah, but it's not them though. It's not like them telling me that I'm ungrateful. I'm just a person where like I overanalyze a lot of things. Like, for instance, when I'm not going to talk about my personal life, but I'm going to make up a story and it's going to be the same. So let's say like, there was a friend who was sick and I was like, oh, she told me she all right. Like, I called her. She said she was fine. And then another friend called me and would be like, oh, well, I brought her over this and this and that because, I wanted to make sure she was okay. And then I stop and think for a second and I'm like, maybe I should go and really make sure she's okay and bring her something or be there for her, and sometimes I check myself based on people's actions. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that somebody said. It can just be me being impressed with the way they're moving and me say, hold up, I can improve in my life or move a little differently or appreciate people a little more in my life. So let me go over there and check on her, bring her a box of this or this or that, and really be grateful for her.
Exactly. Because you never know when somebody needs it.
Right. Because a lot of people have pride too. They'll say, oh no, I'm good. blah, blah, blah. But no, I'm going to do it anyway. And then you'll be surprised at, the relationships you build out of just being grateful that people are in your lives or expressing gratitude.
Because once you realize and you see what you have, that it multiplies.
And even Ralph Waldo Emerson said, you cannot do kindness too soon because you never know how soon it will be too late.
I feel like that is one of the biggest tools for gratefulness, because I know the quote said kindness, but I feel like that can also be gratefulness. Like, you can show that kindness to yourself by giving yourself that moment to take stock. You can show that kindness to other people by giving or, being there for, you know what I mean? Like,
expressing your gratitude, appreciating
exactly,
them.
because you never know when it's truly needed, or you never know if it's going to be too late, even for yourself.
I say just share it. Just share it and share it now.
Spread it around.
Spread it around. Do it now. Because who's going to say, oh, she's too grateful. She's too kind. I don't like that shit. Like, you don't want people like that in your life anyway. And I will say, grateful people find grateful people. Lots of times when you express yourself in a certain way, you'll see certain people fall to the wayside and other people grow bigger and bigger in your life. I have a friend now that when I first met her, I didn't think we were going to be really friends. And if we were, I didn't think we were going to be close friends. But she has shown me so much grace and so much gratitude, and I have to her, that we kind of like saw each other for a second, like, hold up, like, you a badass bitch. Like, I like the way you move. Like, I respect your gangster. Like, and then from there, it's like we started developing like a very amazing friendship just off of the strength of virtue. So try to keep yourself around virtuous people and try to express and share your virtues with them, especially gratitude.
Yes. Hopefully our tips and our tricks helped you out, will be useful to you, is using some tools in your toolbox. The end of the day, hope you got something out of this.
Remember, we are experts of nothing. We just out here in these streets.
We learn from you just like you learn from us, because we're a tribe.
Until next time.
Continue to vibe.
Hey.